you know, numbers always are numbers, but the cap number is always a number that is pretty much unknown, right? Uh, just yesterday, which will fall on Sunday for those who are watching this video later, the NFL released their cap number for the 2022 season, and it appears that the Cowboys will be $12 million, give or take, over the cap. And KD Drummond, man, wrote a beautiful piece on that. And let's just go ahead and say this: we ain't finna do nothing in this free agency. No, 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 no. But neither here nor there. The Cowboys, $12 million over the cap. The cap for the 2022 season is $208.2 million. And here's the situation. As I read this, we got a lot of dead money. Do you guys remember Jalen Smith? That's dead money. I think it's $9.8 million worth of dead money. Also, that showed up on that report as dead money is this guy by the name of Gerald McCoy, the real McCoy. It's $2.8 million, give or take, of dead money that we got from him. And of course, Dak Prescott, he restructured some of his guaranteed money and they moved some stuff around and freed up some money. His currently base salary is right at $20 million, which I get it. You know, he's a quarterback. He's going to take the biggest hit on anybody's contract. Will always be the quarterback for any team. But neither here nor there. They restructured some of his money, and his base salary is $20 million. And with the cap hit of $34.4 million, I'm just rounding everything up. And what they did was they're going to bring it down to $1 million, and they're going to adjust the spread over $19 million to spread it from 2022 through 2026, and that will cover most of his salary, which will save $15.2 million. So I know you guys heard the report earlier this season, earlier in the midst of the last season, that Dak Prescott restructured his contract to save the Cowboys $16 million, etc. Now, they always have cap reliefs funds within the contracts of the Cowboys because that's why they want to sign these guys for a longer contract so that they can do such, right? But the problem is with all of this is that eventually you continue to kick the can down the road. Eventually you're going to have to pick the can up, basically, and that's the thought track of it. But to make things quickly with this conversation, Zach Martin, he can potentially restructure his contract to save money, the cap or what have you, and he can potentially spread some things out, $7.2 million. Ezekiel Elliott can restructure his contract, and it can save you about $9 million by giving him more money up front. And let me know how you guys feel about Ezekiel Elliott. Tyron Smith, you can restructure his contract. I think he got one of those evergreen contracts that you can always jump in because he signed one of those 10-year contract deals. Cowboys were one of the first people to think of a creative method to do such. But neither here nor there. They can do that, and they can save about $8 million against the cap. Now, the Amari Cooper exchange. This could be a situation whereas the Cowboys could potentially trade him or potentially cut him or potentially restructure his contract. It just depending on how the negotiation goes with Amari Cooper. If you trade/release Amari Cooper, that's $16 million. If you restructure, you can save about $12.5 million, give or take. I get it. You know, a lot of people look at the notion to actually just cut them and you save the $16 million, or hear me out. I think the better avenue would be to go ahead and just restructure Amari Cooper. He's your number one wide receiver, and we've seen how this team looked without him. And even if you try to go out there and find a young wide receiver out of the draft, there's no telling what he may do, you know, and on this level. And the Cowboys, as we talking about this, we don't have any money to go get those good quality free agent guys as it relates to wide receiver play, because they're going to want some coins to play here in Dallas. So you have to go with the lesser approach. And everybody know this team need every help that they can find as it relates to wide receiver play. Neither here nor there. La'el Collins, same situation. You can either restructure his contract or release him. And the quick footnote says, okay, you can restructure, save $6 million. If you trade by June 1st, you can save by $10 million. And then 2023, things roll over, and it'll be at $8.7 million worth of dead money. Now, if you flat out just trade them, that's $1.3 million that you save, and that would probably work better, but you got to find a dancing partner, right? That's always the problem. And of course, DeMarcus Lawrence, D-Law. All right, so you trade / release him before June 1st. You can save right at $19 million. That's a lot of money. The dead money will roll over to next year, which will be right at $11 million. Now, the greatest thing that you can do to get away with all of this, believe it or not, would be to trade him, and it will be saving you right at $8 million. That just let somebody else hold that burden, but you got to find a dancing partner. You know, that's just how it goes. Now, as far as Anthony Brown, if you release him, you'll save $5 million. And of course, you can say, okay, I got a younger guy and Kelvin Joseph that I believe in, and bam, you'll save some money. But the problem is that Anthony Brown, one can argue, had his best season ever outside of his rookie year, and he was asked for more responsibilities this past season. So do you really move on from Anthony Brown, or do you sit back and say, all right, we're going to work with him? Maybe they restructure him, but I think that his contract is so thin, it'll be better to cut him if you don't see any value out of him, and you save the $5 million, especially if you can't find a dancing partner. Now, the mighty Blake Jarwin, y'all remember him, right? I mean, had an unbelievable year, not last season, but the following season, I believe, in 2019, that's when Jarwin, everybody was like, hey, man, this dude's stepping up. He's being that guy. And then 2020, he had that situation with his that injury, but before that injury, he was showing that, hey, a lot of promises, right? And then he came back last season, and it was a lot of Schultz, man, is taking over this role. But if you cut him, if you release him, you'll save $4.25 million. So there's ways to get around this cap situation and scenario. My ideology of this would be hold on to Jarwin, go into the draft. You already got him under contract, and see what you can do out of the draft. There's a lot of guys in this draft that can step right up and be that guy. Now, if you decide to cut him and not renew Dalton Schultz, then they got Njoku out there, that you can play around with. Evan Engram, you got him, and of course that could be more of the same, a guy that can just run up the field and can't really solidify himself as a blocker or a solid hand guy, but he is a guy that can run versatile routes that defenses will have to respect that, and that's Evan Engram. I think O.J. Howard is out there too. There's a lot of tight ends out there that you can play around with and see. But my thing is, hear me out, you got to get the tight end earlier so he can get those installments in place. You don't want to wait too long. And on this list, of course, Greg Zurline. He had a rough year last season, especially with the easy ones. According to him, he don't practice those short kicks, but he need to. But that's a story of a different day. If you cut him, you would save $2.5 million, and that's just spitting it into the ocean right there. You're talking about $2.5 million, spitting it into the ocean, thinking that you doing something. You ain't doing nothing, So let him compete. Let him work it out. Let's see what we can do down the line with that. The other guy that you can cut to save money and it's similar. Jordan Lewis, and now we're talking about cutting your depths. It's $2.3 million. Yeah, I mean, that's not a big savings there. The value versus, the risk there, I would say that keep the value, depth purpose guy, right? He had his best season. I think he ended the season with 3 INTs. So I'll hold on to Jordan Lewis. I will absolutely hold on to Jordan Lewis. And then we're talking about a guy that can pretty much know the system, understand the system, and who knows, going into the second year with Dan Quinn's system, you can pretty much say to yourself, he could play even better. And that could be the same talk and conversational piece for Anthony Brown too, right? But neither here nor there. Basham, if you cut him, you'll save $1.7 million, give or take. I'll hold on to Basham too. I'll let these boys compete and see what we can get and shake out from the end of it. I get it, Cowboy Nation. We look into this thing and we'll say, hey, these guys, we need better results. We do. We need money to go get somebody. But as I look at this list, we got 22 free agent guys on this list, give or take. And the Cowboys, in order to make anything dance, they're going to have to figure that part out. Who they going to bring back, who they're willing to depart from, and things like that. Hopefully, they make the right decisions, but hear me out. If they started to cut some of these guys and restructure some of these guys, be sure to go out there and make the quality picks and understand that we just witnessed a team winning the Super Bowl by just going all in on who and what they believe in as it relates to free agency, as it relates to belief in system, as it relates to coaching staff and beyond, and style of play. They went and got it done. No excuses. Cowboys, they bringing everybody back from the same coaching staff from last year. There should be zero excuses for these boys. Post me your thoughts. Post me your concerns down below. And let's go DC for life. DC for life.